my name is George Mienie and I'm joined by Wandile Sishe and Martin Pretorius and Lawrence Mienie to talk about all things industry related. And first up, year-on-year growth, or no, not growth. What am I talking about? We're in lockdown. A year-on-year decline in used car sales is around 13.2% versus a year-on-year decline in new car sales of around 34.8%, or 35% to round it off. So 13% decline in used and a 35% decline in new car sales for the last month, which is the month of June. So it is very, very clear that the swing to used cars is happening as we speak in front of your eyes, like a really good magic trick. The swing to used cars is happening before our eyes, a 35% decline in new car sales. So the total value of used cars for the month of June increased by 46% over May. Now, bear in mind that car dealers couldn't sell cars during half of May. And hence this 46% increase. So don't take the 46% increase in used car sales as, oh, wow, we're flying. We're doing okay with used cars, but 46% is only representative of the ability to trade. And while in the market, the Western Cape saw a 101% increase in sales last month and is really on the boil, the VW Polo Vivo was the most popular used car sold in that province during the month of June. So over 25,000 used cars worth over 7.3 billion rand were sold during the month of June versus 17,000 cars in May, valued at about 4.9 billion rand. Now remember, normality is at around 12 billion rand. So we're just over the halfway point in terms of normality. But there is massive amounts of consumer demand. On AutoTrader.co.za, vehicle searches increased in June, up from 39.9 million searches in May to 43.9 million searches in June. A massive increase. We are seeing one of the biggest increases in consumer activity on used cars in the history of AutoTrader. And this comes from an analysis from June 2020 AutoTrader's data. Now, turning to new car. New car sales declined, as I said, by 34%. Did I say 34%? Yes, I did. 34.8, 35%. Largely probably as a result of lockdown, but consumers are being wise in spending their money. And you can get a fully spec'd used car at a cheaper price. And which one would you go for, used or new? I mean, some people are new car fans. So under the relaxed COVID-19 lockdown restrictions, 31,867 new cars, bakkies, and trucks sold last month. And they were substantially higher than the 12,932 units sold in May. Now, but remember, we could only trade halfway through May. So the same story exists here. But it's still 31% down from the 45,900 vehicles sold in June last year. Passenger vehicles, on the other hand, which is the 30-odd% I mentioned just now, declined by 33.4% to 9,667 units. Light commercial vehicles declined by 29.7% to 10,189 units. And medium trucks dropped by 26.6% to 611 units, with heavy trucks and buses bucking the trend by gaining 6.5% to 1,803 units compared to the same month last year. Now, I suppose economic activity and building causes that. So, new car under a lot of pressure, and consumers seem to be swinging towards used. So, National Treasury still expects the local economy to shrink by 7.2% in 2020, and it'll be the largest contraction in almost a century. How long does it take to dig out of that hole? And it'll be difficult. A very difficult year for the industry that contributes 6.4% to the GDP. Remember, that's the motoring industry contributing to the GDP at 6.4%. And with a significant decline in GDP, it's going to take us some time to bring ourselves out of this. But used cars seem to be doing okay for the moment. What do you guys think? What does the future hold?
Well, I saw recently that there was a 2% decline in the GDP as is. So it's really great to see that the automotive industry is kind of picking up and kind of stabilizing to where it used to be. I think it's important not just for the economy, but for businesses and people's livelihoods. This sort of restarts is welcomed and necessary.
Yeah, my fear is it's great that consumers are getting bargains and deals on used cars, and they're seeing the value in all the used cars that are out there. If there's nobody buying new cars, in a few years, there won't be any used cars.
Well, that's called the aging fleet syndrome, right? Aging fleet.
That's what I'm worried about. There has to be new car sales that feeds the used car sales downstream.
Yeah. I mean, but it'll come back.
I mean, new car number doesn't drop too low.
Even if it drops to naught, right? Which I doubt. Even if it drops to naught, at some point the economy is going to dig its way out of this. Human beings aren't going to go away. This planet's not going to explode. So the upside is we will get out of this. The world goes in spikes and dips. That's how we go. So we have to get out of this. This is definitely not a forever thing, in my opinion. What do you think, Martin? You're on mute again, just like your Land Rover.
Oh, speaking of which, here it is. It does exist.
Whoa, there's Martin's. That looks like it's driving.
That was when it was still driving.
Well, send us that picture, Martin. I'm gonna tell the world about your Land Rover. What do you think about the industry? You're still on mute. I think it's your Land Rover playing tricks on you.
Like my Land Rover, you see.
You still there you guys. Mute, off, mute, unmute, off, mute, unmute, off, mute.
The industry is going to take a while to recover, and I think the new car industry is going to take a while to recover, and I think the manufacturers with the best chance of a full and quicker recovery would be those who stick to the budget-focused segments. People are buying down to a large degree. We've already seen this in the stats as well, with smaller cars and more affordable cars becoming more and more popular. And I think the manufacturers who offer those kinds of cars new will be the ones to pull out of it first. I see tough times ahead for most of the premium manufacturers, and I see tough times ahead for the vehicle importers as well.
Well, that brings us to the end of our industry talk. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me.